Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to everybody around the world. Welcome to the international webinar of Rayonex Biomedical here from the Sauerland Pyramids in Lennestadt. It's always incredible that we have a worldwide audience today, so really impressive. We have more than 350 participants registered for today, so a very nice event and with some fantastic, outrageous news, I want to say. Yeah, we want to start with this little question in the beginning, and we have the result now, and this is very interesting, almost as expected, I have to say. Are the studies important in your daily work? And as per now, we just have 93% of the participants saying, yes, these are very important for us. And that shows clearly also for us how important the studies are to promote our system, to work with our system. And with this new fantastic study we have, unusual result finally, and what can support you and all your customers worldwide to promote the bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. Yeah, I think we should find the entrance to the presentation and start with the first slide. I'd like to give you a little overview first of all. Okay. Who are we? What is Rayonex Biomedical today? You know, a lot of things are going on over the last years, a lot of developments, changes, and so on. And so therefore we like to give a brief summary of what's going on here in Germany at the moment. On the picture you see the Sauerland Pyramids. In total consists of 7. A lot of you have already visited us here, and it's always a pleasure and very impressive, I think, to the people. Nowadays, thanks COVID-19, not that easy, but we are very optimistic and hope that this will change anymore, and then that everybody can come and visit us here. On the right side, the 3 pyramids, numbers 1 to 3. This is the Rayonex headquarters here in Germany, and in Pyramid 1, this is where we are actually now sitting, Professor Heimes and me, and Mrs. Buchenburg, in the north of Germany, in Kiel. So, sorry I didn't introduce you before. Great pleasure. So we are 3 speakers today. Yeah, this is still Pyramid 1, the headquarter, administration, sales, training, still be carried out in here. We did some renovation over the last year, having new offices and so on. And number 2 is our therapy and support center, where we have practitioners working and assistants, in total 4 people, giving people the support in case of technical questions, therapeutic questions, to the whole world of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. But also some customers who are interested in here, coming here for testing and to get an impression and an entry to the world of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. Number 3, our Paul Schmidt Academy, our training room, training facility. Some of you joined us already here for the nice 5-day courses to become a certified bioresonance practitioner according to Paul Schmidt. But also we are educating here in Germany practitioners called Heilpraktiker, what is required for the professional work in the medical field. Yeah, on the left side, the numbers 4 to 7 are the Galileo Park, a science and park open to public with different exhibitions. Also, you can rent a pyramid for special events, marriages, company meetings, and so on. This is open to public and very well visited, especially now during holiday season here. But back to Rayonex Biomedical, we are actually represented in 45 countries all around the world. That's really fantastic and great pleasure, but still a few more countries to develop. That's the work for the future, and this will have a good progress as we hope. Some numbers here in Germany. we have approximately in Germany 60,000 users alone in Germany, and beside of this, almost 6,700 doctors, therapists, but also veterinarians. So a wide spectrum of users of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, and of course a lot of different applications. I mentioned in the beginning that a lot of changes are going on, and that's for us that we have had a problem here in the pyramids with the space. So that means with a high demand or increasing demand on products, devices, and so on, the space was too small here in the pyramids and difficult to add something on the pyramids. That does not look so nice and is not easy, but we had a fantastic solution just 1 minute away here from the pyramids. We had a chance to get a very nice facility for the city of Lennestadt, and in there we have now outsourced from the pyramids the whole production of our products, the purchase department, the quality management, development, and so on, and a very nice, completely renovated facility with also 1,200 square meter floor space. So very nice and made for the future. So there's still a lot of space what we can use. From the environmental aspect, also very interesting that we have a photovoltaic system there, and we call it here in Germany. So the production is completely CO2 neutral. That means with this PV unit, we generate so much energy what covers the whole demand on our new factory. So very interesting, very nice, very environmental friendly. Another big thing is the robot controlled production. So we have a Japanese colleague down there. I think the company is Faruk, if I remember right, which is increasing the production, especially for the field of the biofluid forming devices, for Ryex devices, for the mini products and so on, which are almost standardized products, not too many changes, and can be very easily manufactured, produced from a robot. And with this, we have a really good outcome production rate here per day, where we can produce hundreds of minutes per day alone, just as an idea for you. Also very interesting and important for us is an own test laboratory where we have we can do different size of development tests in different areas. This also very important for the further development of bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. At least, of course, the warehouse and the shipping department, and very important for all the colleagues and employees down in the company, of course, a cafeteria where they can join and have lunch or breakfast together.
And Mr. Taylor, I have to add that it takes months to take a picture with such a blue sky.
Indeed. So, but springtime was still okay here. So that's also for the PV unit, it was very good this year. For some newcomers here, we also like to give a short explanation how to explain bioresonance. The easiest way is always the sunlight. Everybody knows the sunlight, but why is the sunlight turning our skin into brown? Why does it happen? Is it the heat? What is it? Would raise another question, would I get brown in the sauna? Not really. So it's more the ultraviolet portion of the sunlight, what comes in a very high terahertz spectrum, frequency spectrum, what's stimulating the melanin production, the pigments, the vitamin D, what are all substantial processes in our organism to survive. And so the sun is very, very important. Without sunlight, we could not even exist on Earth. And from our point of view, we say bioresonance devices are like an adjustable sun, because we give the frequencies which are required, which are necessary, important for the organism, back to the organism and bring them in resonance again. That's a brief summary how bioresonance works in principle. In the next, and this is the main topic of the meeting today and this webinar, is, of course, the studies. We heard in the beginning how important studies are for you in your daily work. And of course, we like to provide you as much as possible, but it was always difficult in the past to have a really scientific recognized study. This target we have now reached, and but we also, in the history, we did a lot of studies and case reports or case studies about bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And here are a little summary. We just don't want to show you all, but just these 5 studies we want to show you a bit more in detail. But you see it already started in 1993 from Dr. Breier here in Cologne. Very interesting. And within the next slides, we show you a bit more about the details of these studies carried out in the past, before we then finally can come to the most current and important study. Yeah, the first one carried out from Dr. Breier. You can see on the next page. This was still at the time where we didn't have the RAH, but just the VAPS programs with the fundamental frequencies. And Dr. Breier raised the question, does the frequency therapy has any influence on pathologic diseases? And he made the study in completely different fields of diseases, like an orthopedic, in neurology, neurology, complete different areas, but also with a big number of patients. So he tested more than 500 patients in his study, and he used always pre-designed programs out of the BAPS. So the 55 programs have been used for the therapy of the people. The interesting and important part about this here is that he also did laboratory tests beside all the therapy. So all these results, which are significant improvements for the patients, are all reproducible and proven by the laboratory tests. So this was the first real, I would say, giant study about bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And then the next study has been carried out from the Fraunhofer Institute. This was already also in 2011. Incredible how time is running, really. This was about the efficiency of the devices. They have been carried out from the Fraunhofer Institute, what is a very well-known institute here in Europe. Cell biological studies of fibroblasts and keratinocytes. In the beginning, there was, even from side of the Fraunhofer Institute, great skepticism, how this can work, how bioresonance works, does it work? And a big surprise for them, not for us, but for them, was really that we had a significant reproducible increase on the cell activity. And this, with both devices, with Rayacom PS10 and Rayacom PS1000 at that time. And this was a tremendous step, again, that we now had a proof from a well-known, recognized institute that the devices work and increase the cell activity. Important on this study is, on the other side, that the support of the cell metabolism, on the cell activity, what means that we support with the devices, for example, the ATP production in the cells, does on the other side not have any kind of side effect. So by treating cells, specific cells in the organism, we support them, but there's no kind of side effects. So as we can see on the next slide is that we see the upper picture, untreated cells, and below you see treated cells. Now people ask, where's the difference? They look the same, it's the same structure, but that's the important fact. So we don't change anything on the structure of the cells, the morphologic structure, and support the cells, but we don't create this, in case of any destroyment or changing on the structure, you can create new problems, new side effects on the treatment. And this does not happen with our devices. And so this is a significant effect here on the usage of the devices. PS1000 polar and PS10, so a fantastic result. The next study, important study for Rayonex and the bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt was, of course, the well-known Dartsch study. The Dartsch study from the Dutch Scientific Institute started in the same way like the Fraunhofer Institute, with a big skepticism. So Professor Dartsch was very skeptic that the system works, and especially here the Mini-Rayonex is a portable device without any energy source. It can't work. I remember when Professor Heimer said that during the test, Professor Dartsch called him on a Sunday afternoon and saying, "You won't believe what happened. We have a fantastic result in the study where living cell culture," so it was an in vitro study, has been exposed to the Mini-Rayonex, and just, I have to say, within 24 hours, the cell activity has been increased by up to 45%, and this in a reproducible way. So confirmed the result from the Fraunhofer Institute and the fantastic efficiency of the Mini-Rayonex as a, again, portable small device that can be carried from everyone easily in the pocket. And according or based on this, Professor Dartsch by himself said, okay, when we have such an increase on cell activity, how can we do another proof of the efficiency, or what does it really mean? So what they did is they created another cell structure with an artificial wound. So we have here another in vitro cell culture, and on the left side you see the artificial wound, so cut it with a knife. And within 2 days, the Mini-Rayonex increases the wound healing also by up to 20%, just due to the higher cell activity, to the higher cell metabolism. So the wound is closing much faster as without the influence of the Mini-Rayonex. People say, okay, it's faster, what does it help? It helps alone, remember, infection. A closing wound is much more or less problematic to get an infection. So after surgeries or after wounds, little cuts or something, very helpful to use there also the Mini-Rayonex. Yeah, in 2015, another very interesting thing, because Mrs. Gina Alberts, who's nowadays working for Rayonex here and is responsible for the veterinary range, she wrote her bachelor thesis, and with the question, is bioresonance treatment helpful in determining the causes of chronic diseases in horses and treating these? And as you know, animals cannot be influenced by telling a horse, for example, hey, what we are now doing with you is good for you. So there's no placebo, non-placebo effect, for example. And so therefore, this study is also very, very important for bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, since it shows there is no placebo effect behind. Right the other way, it's more that it was a high efficiency. So Mrs. Alberts checked or ran the study about chronic diseases on horses with problems on the digestive system, on the metabolism, respiratory system, and in almost all cases, also again, a significant improvement on the condition of the horses. So another proof that the system works in a fantastic way without any placebo effect. So another big, giant study, at least for bioresonance. Yeah, the almost current study or approach was made from Dr. Thomas Vieth at the public clinic in Chemnitz in Eastern Germany. Dr. Vieth is a cardiologist, and he uses bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, in his daily work in the clinic since many, many years. I think it came out of a sudden that we heard about him, that he's using our system, and we were also a little bit surprised. He uses it in a combination with a traditional Western medicine and the bioresonance. And what he's doing, he's supporting cardiologic patients with a bioresonance to support the energetic level, because you can imagine if you have chronic cardiologic patients, they are very low in energy, so he's supporting the energy. But in the same way, he's also looking or working cause-orientated with the system. So he's treating detected known problems of cardiac diseases, supporting the people, preparing them for surgeries that they can better resist the surgeries. And in some cases, we learned from him, it also happens that surgery was not necessary anymore. And I think this is a fantastic result. And he said, this is perfect thing to combine the traditional medicine, but also with the alternative bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And he's unbelievable successful with this way of combination. Yeah, this was very brief, a little overview about, I would say, the most important studies we had in the past. And I'd like now to pass over to Professor Heimes, and working closer now to the current status, but giving a bit more background why we did all this. Mm-hmm. Please, Professor Heimes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Tiello, and very welcome from my side to this webinar. Yeah, let's start talking about a new study about pain reduction. And let us talk a little bit about the reason why we did this study, because it is related to tremendous costs to do that. And in the field of alternative medicine, clinical study, which is double-blind, randomized, prospective, clinical, placebo-controlled, is very unusual, and yeah, you can't find these kind of high-quality studies published. Yeah, the reason is at the final end the requirements for medical devices and the new European medical device regulation called MDR, the Medical Device Regulation. And in these days, when you want to be a producer of medical products, you must have on the left-hand side devices which fulfill all the technical requirements, of course, to make sure that the highest requirements from the government are fulfilled regarding safety, and so that it is not possible to harm patients and so on. And for that, we have, for example, to realize also these special normative procedures, and these procedures changed totally in the past with this new MDR. When in the past it was enough to have a device controlled by, for example, 4,000 volts as tests. At the moment we need 8,000, and when you are doing that with the older devices, it's related with big problems, and therefore this was a very huge hurdle for each medical producer, that we have to redesign each medical device. And when you are redesigning medical devices, it is related to, of course, huge costs. And it is not easy to fulfill these requirements because hurdles are really high, and but we need it. On the right-hand side, we need, in addition to the technical requirements, also a double-blind randomized study after a positive vote of the ethics committee. And this is, in the field of alternative medicine, really a very huge hurdle. In the past, it was enough when you had good case reports, I will say, and when these case reports were fine, I will say 10, 15 years ago, the government said, okay, that's great, this is enough to promote it as a medical device. But nowadays, and that's exactly with a very strong influence into the medical world, the new medical products must have a double-blind randomized study also for the effectiveness and for the safety. Both must be fulfilled, and you can see here the normative requirements also. And the result is, I will come back to the last point on this chart, that a redesign of medical devices is necessary, and this new quality, very high-class study. And of course, no published study can be done only by our wish. It must be controlled by the government. It must be registered in a special list which is transparent so that everybody can have a look into it. It is a website, and of course the ethics committee must give a positive vote also. Yeah, let us, and I think these are really interesting pictures for you. I'm sure you never saw this before, and it shows the importance of a double-blind randomized study. What is the reason that this double-blind randomized study is such, in the scientific world, the highest you can do? The reason for that is that the medical doctor and the patient does not know that the device which is treating the patient is working or not. And you can see on the left side of this chart two kinds of devices. You can see in the picture above the shape of the polar, and on the left side under it the placebo device, and on the right side the active device, which is the normal serial device. And you can see the difference. The difference is the dipole antenna system. In the active device, we integrated the dipole antenna system, and on the placebo device, you cannot find this dipole antenna system in it. And for example, the weight was checked so that a person cannot decide on the weight that this is, for example, there are 600 grams are missing, there's something missing in it, and therefore it is a placebo device. Therefore, that this device is a placebo and this is an active device. At the final end, by the government, they make a stamp on it and closed the devices, gave them a number with A and B, and these two groups of devices, active and placebo, yes, were not, this was definitely a secret. And when a new patient comes into this study, a computer decided which number of device this patient must be treated in the next time. That means neither the patient nor the executing physician are aware of the assignment. This is double blind, yeah? And only after this evaluation of all the results, it means after finishing the study, the unblinding shows then which devices were the active device and the placebo device. And the patient must give their results, of course, before unblinding the devices on a list to the medical doctors. And at the final end, you have to know, and please think about this situation when you are a patient in a double-blind study, and the medical doctor said to you, okay, this is a device with which we want to treat your pain. We want to realize a pain reduction, but it can be a working device or it can be a not working device. And when you have to give after that information, after the treatments, then the result in the data bank, you think twice that it makes sense and that you have really a positive effect, because you want not to be in the situation that after unblinding, the medical doctor knows that you are treated very well with a placebo device. Yeah. And that you have then the character as a crazy person. And that's the reason that, that results from double-blind studies are really hard to, or that the effectiveness of devices is really difficult to find out in a significant way. I think this is the right definition, because the patients are really cautious about their statements regarding the results. Yeah, and the study parameters of this study were monocentric, prospective. It means we did not use older results. We are using new ones. Each result must be new. Randomized, it means it comes from a computer, and a computer decide this patient with A, this patient with B device. Double blind, neither patient nor the physician know exactly what is the working device and the not working device. The indication was patient with a cervical spine syndrome, and that's exactly the point. To be or to have the license to produce a medical device, you must have one indication with this double-blind study, and the results must be significant and the usage must be safe. Then you are getting the status as a medical device producer, and you have a medical device in front of you. And for us, it is so important to have this status, because we want to establish bioresonance, according to Paul Schmidt, as really a medical system. Yeah, people can trust, and we cannot make medicine with wellness devices. And therefore, it is so important to realize this giant milestone for Rayonex. Back to the study. We had 10 treatments with a polar 4-0 over a period of maximum 70 days. The questionnaires regarding pain and quality of life and individual evaluation of treatment success. And I think it is very important to know that all the patients must have for longer than 2 years a chronic situation of pain. Then the number of clinics was 1, it was in 1 center, and the number of patients was 54. That means exactly half of them were treated with a placebo, and half of them were treated with the active device. I think this is now the best point to invite Mrs. Bunkenburg as our medical support into the webinar, yes, and to give to you the word.
Thank you so much. A warm welcome from my side. It's really a good feeling to have so many people now here in the conference. Please believe me, it's different to a real seminar, but hopefully we have the same effects, and hopefully we are coming back to normal situations, and that we can have in the future seminars face to face. Yes, let's have a look at indication to the chronic cervical spine syndrome. When we talk about this kind of syndrome, my idea first is not to treat that with bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, because there are a lot of causes why people develop this kind of syndrome. And for example, we have the functional cervical spine syndrome. That is, for example, when the people are sitting in the wrong way in front of the computer. You know, everybody knows that you have here in the neck the problem, and then you develop this symptom. You have the degenerative cervical spine syndrome. That's because of the vertebral bodies are changing, and you have a lot of pain another possibility for developing the cervical spine syndrome, but you have also the possibility of the post-traumatic cervical spine syndrome, for example, after an accident. So many possibilities, and please believe me, we had big problems first to decide how to treat with bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. The symptoms of the most patients were neck pain, often with radiation in the arm, stiff neck, for example, hardening of the muscles, dizziness, headache, migraine. I think everybody knows that. Vision disorders or ear noise. But for us, it was so difficult to decide what we want to treat, in which area we put the programs together. We had not the possibility to measure the people. And that is, I think, really a challenge, because I told you a lot of possibilities for developing this kind of syndrome, but no chance to check that. What kind of person I have in front of me? What are the reasons for these symptoms? We had only the possibility to make a combination of our programs. Please believe me, a strong problem for us, and we had a strong heartbeat when we decided what kind of program. But in general, when we thought about what has to be inside of this program, all in one, we created a compact program. And first of all, we need, for example, energy, vitalization, acupuncture, ATP, you know that. It's important, it is for every start in the bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, the most important thing, because a lot of people have lacks in energy areas, and therefore if you are not regulating this kind of problems, then you cannot work with our system. Therefore, we started with vitalization, acupuncture, ATP. Then we come to the causes, for example, environmental pollutions, and we had the toxins from bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasites. We also put in the physiology, the pathology from, for example, immune system, the lymphatic system, the nervous system, also the pathology programs from all these areas. But very important was also to have a good detoxification, because you need the detoxification of the cells, the tissue, lymphatic system, kidney, digestive system, also skin. Last but not least, we also integrated the pain and psyche programs, because of the lot of possibilities which can lead this kind of symptoms. Now the next one.
Yeah.
I want to show you a little bit that you have an overview about the RAH programs. Now you can see this 0.00, you start, then the energy parts, most programs with 5 minutes, but then we took a lot of 70 programs. Why we took a lot of 70 programs? The reason is we wanted to cover all the possibilities, a lot of pathogens, bacteria inside, and therefore we decided we put everything inside that we can do. 10 minutes for the 70 programs, because they are very huge, and therefore it's better to have more time. At the end, good detoxification and the vitalization. And all these programs we put on the green card, and this green card was the card for the treatments 10 times, and all the people, the patients, had to do this treatment. Okay.
Okay, then next step into the results of this study are the aims of the study. And I said before that we have the primary objective of the study is the efficiency, especially the improvement of the neck pain, and this is quantified with the so-called NDI. It is the neck disability index before and after treatment. The secondary objectives are the safety, and this is in the same way very, very important, because the German TÜV is our notified body here at Rayonex, and he is of course looking more to the safety than to the effectiveness. But also we want to have as a secondary objective the result of quality of life. And we started especially for that in a special quantified question form. We asked all the questions and got very, very interesting answers. Of course, with the different scales, we worked out results of the treatment and the comparison between the placebo device and the active Rayacom bioresonance device. And to realize such a study, this is very, very strict. It must be, everything is controlled. And this is, for example, our advertisement we made to got patients into this study, and it was not allowed to use different ads, only this one, only for you as an information. Yeah, and now the results after 10 treatments from the Rayacom P1000 Polar 4.0 made in a period of maximum 70 days with 54 patients. This is now the picture and the result of this study, and you can see here in the left side, and I hope you can see here the arrow, that we have here the active device and here is the placebo device. Yeah, the blue one is after, and I would say the light red or the red one is before the treatment. It means before active treatment, before placebo treatment. And you can see it is nearly exactly the same level between the group of patients treated with a Rayacom and with a placebo. It was exactly the same start situation. Yeah. And after 10 times of treatment, you can see now here this really giant difference of the neck disability index, and with a very, very high significant result. You can see here that it is definitely lower. Yes, that the neck disability index is definitely lower than in the group of the placebo controlled group, and it is nearly the same than before. And this is really interesting. You can see no changing in the placebo group, and this is so interesting that really patients are able to, and they did not know which kind of device they have exactly the same result after and before. Placebo is really not working. And that means that at the final end, the dipole antenna system is not working, and therefore no dipole antenna system, no effect. Yeah, here the start and a huge reduction of the NDI with the existing group. Fantastic result, and it is strongly significant. Yeah, and then the results here in addition, and the question was, I have less neck pain after the therapy, and you can see here on the left side the bioresonance devices, and here the placebo device group. Yeah, it means this is the answer of 27 patients with active devices, and this is the answer of 27 patients with the placebo device. I have less neck pain after the therapy. Yes, this high number of patients said, yes, I have less neck pain. And the placebo group said, no, I have not less neck pain. And then I have less headache after the therapy. Yes, that's true for the active group, not in the placebo group. I have less back pain after the therapy. Yes, in the bioresonance group, no, in the placebo group. And this is really an unbelievable result. And with the reduction of the NDI, and with these results, we are now able to make absolutely in accordance with the existing laws, advertisement to say bioresonance is a therapy system, for example, to reduce neck pain or headaches or back pain or the cervical spine syndrome. Yeah, very interesting. And the next are, I have less shoulder pain after the therapy. You can see nearly the same structure. I have less tensions after the therapy. I have more power in the arms after therapy. And the medical doctors and the patients worked out, of course, before unblinding these results. And after unblinding, the statistic person worked it out in two weeks, and to bring all this giant number of data together and created these diagrams. I have less dizziness after the therapy. Yes, on bioresonance. No, on placebo. Yeah, and this is a very interesting result also. The question was the evaluation at the final end of from the patients about the bioresonance therapy, and you can see this in the left diagram. I probably won't do it again. Yeah. Here you can see very strong result on the placebo. Yeah, and no on the existing active device group. And the other point is, I will definitely do the bioresonance therapy according to Paul Schmidt again. Said, yes, I won't definitely do it again. On the placebo device group said, no, it makes no sense for me. And the recommended, or the recommendation of this bioresonance therapy is very clear also. Yes, I will recommend this bioresonance therapy I got in the study. Yes, said the bioresonance therapy group, and the placebo group said, in general, no. Some said, yes, I will recommend it, but in my case, it won't work. Yeah, that's exactly the point. And another point is the reduction of the pain medication in the group of the active and the non-active devices, means on the placebo devices. No pain medication anymore, much less than before the treatment. Said on the bioresonance therapy, the highest number of patients, not in the placebo group. It means the patient in the placebo group are not able to reduce significantly the medication. But here on the bioresonance therapy group, it is really a very clear answer also. Yeah, and the same medication than before, not in the bioresonance therapy group, but the same in the group of the placebo patients. Yeah, and when I look to the summary, the first of all, and that's really very, very important, is that we have a significant improvement of the neck disability index in the group of the Raycom therapy. And this is for us the most important result. It is a significant improvement. And with this, we have now the chance in the future to show that the devices are working and that these devices are, regarding this indication, are a medical device. Yeah. Very important during the therapy of all these patients, and it was several hundred treatments, no adverse events happened in relation with the Raycom therapy. And that's very important, of course, for the Rayonex here, and also for me personally to sleep well in the night, because when I know I have a study that shows that we have no adverse events, we can show really it, the Raycom therapy is a safe therapy. It is soft and safe and efficient. And that's, from my point of view, very important for each medical doctor or for each practitioner to show to the patients, hey, which are hesitating to do that. Yeah, you can show with this study, hey, it is safe and efficient. Therefore, I think a fantastic argument for the treatments in all the clinics around the world. Significant improvement of physical and psychological quality of life. We did not work out these results here in this short presentation. We will do this when we are in the countries, because this takes really a longer time. But of course, the study shows also that we have not only physical improvements, we have also psychological improvements, and that's really great. And we are now able to make advertisement about these indications and to say, yes, when you want to have a treatment of pain reduction, you can use Raycom P1000 Polar, or you can use Bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And this is now possible. In the past, it was not possible. And for companies who are not having this status as a medical device producer, can't make this advertisement because they are now producing these. They are now producing wellness products. Yeah, and from our point of view, we cannot realize medical treatments with wellness devices. This is, yeah, not so easy, especially when you want to establish bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt as a system, as a medical accepted therapy system in this medical world. Yeah, and the pain and the tension are also reduced significantly, and that's really a very nice point. Last chart from my side is here the publication of the new RHWS study. And I said to you in the beginning that medical devices, the studies on medical devices must be published at a very special register in the government, which is made for that. And this is a very high risk. Yeah, if the study fails, everyone knows, and that's the reason that you can find in this on this website DRKS. It means Deutsches Register für klinische Studien. That means German Register of Clinical Studies. You have to insert this, the parameters of the study before starting the study, and you cannot delete it. That means when a study will not work, you must have you must to live with that, and that's exactly the point and the risk doing these kind of studies. We are now on the sunny side of life because the study worked very well, and it is an absolutely novelty in the range of alternative medicine to have this high-class study, and of course it is very, very important. I will now try to show you, this website. Here, I'm not sure that it is easy to do. I try it. One moment. I want to give you here the chance. So this is, kann man das sehen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is the German Register of Clinical Studies, and each published study in a high class is published exactly here. This is from this is a German register, and it is pushed by the German health department. You can insert here Rayonex to search, and when I said okay, searching, and you can really see here the title, and it is a randomized prospective double-blind study to show the efficiency and the safety of Rayocomp devices, and so on and so on. And when you have a click here, you can see exactly what is inside, and when you are clicking here, you can see the PDF with the results. It is a German website, but we have also for that a solution. But it is for us really, I think, very, very interesting to know that, yeah, or I will say it in a different way. Please try to insert others and to search for studies, and you will see that it is really very, very unique to have as a producer of medical devices in the alternative world these high-class study. And I want to yeah, I want to say that this is for us really very, very important to have it now. And I'm sure that we have a fantastic future in front of us. And the giant idea behind is that all the users worldwide, yes, and we are doing that now more than 35 years, having the chance now to say, I was right in the past, and it was right to use the bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, and therefore it is, from my point of view, really the most important milestone here at Rayonex we ever made. Yeah, I would say thank you so much, and want to give to Mr. Taylor the word.
Yeah, back here with the voice now, not only the video. Thank you very much, Professor Heimes. I think, and it's also a few comments are coming in here already about this fantastic study and about the result. I think everybody can imagine how happy, how glad we are to have such a result and proof of efficiency now. And really incredible. Also, thank you, Gudrun Munkenburg, again, of course, for your explanations here. As we come close to the end now, I just want to give two little more advices. The first one, or the last one here, finally, is the third online World Congress. Honestly, it's the first online one, but third World Congress in total. But due to this pandemic situation, we decided finally to do it online to be on a safe side that we can really run it. The topic for this Congress taking place on April 25th next year, 2021, will be the successful treatment of chronic pain. As remember what Professor Heimes said, we are now in the situation that we can officially claim that we can treat chronic pain, headache, neck pain, back pain. So this gives us a complete new approach promoting the system and also doing more investigations. So we're already working, especially with Buchenburg, working on the program for that Congress next year. And I'm very sure this will be very, very interesting and helpful for a lot of people for you. And below the little picture, you see the link where you can register already now for the Congress next year. I think it's easy to remember that link. Just have one view on it, and then you can remember, especially the last part. I think very easy. Maybe you can take a picture with your smartphone or whatever, freeze the screen, that you can use it now and save the date already for next year in April. Yeah, finally.
I have to add something also. Yes, and it is a big pleasure.
Sure.
That many participants of this webinar are now asking themselves, how can I get access now to the results of this study? Yeah, and want to come back to the last chart here. I showed to you the very special book, and this is this one here. Yeah, and this is the German version, yeah, of the clinical study, and you can really have a look into it with all the descriptions, what it means, the results. Each result is here published, and it is now available in this book. And this is for us, of course, a very, very important document, because practitioners, for example, can use it at the waiting room, yeah, can give it out to interested people to convince them, and so on and so on. And of course, now you are asking yourself, okay, your German is not so good, and therefore you are asking for this study in your language. And I will say to you that we have it at the moment, not only in German, we have it in one moment. We have this available now in English. Yeah, we have it in French, in Italian language, in Spanish,
and
Russian. And Russian. Okay, sorry. At the moment, this is at the moment the variety of our study books, and I'm sure, or I hope, or we hope that there's a language available which you can understand also. Yeah, that's my point. And of course, in case that you see here the link Mr. Taylor offered to you to this cost-free webinar here, in case that you want to save that, you can do it. You can take a picture from your screen and then you can insert it in your browser. Or at the end of this webinar, we will give an automatic link into your browser system, or not we, it means the software is doing that. And so that you can follow it and you can easily register yourself into this third online World Congress.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Yeah. Also, a really improvement that we have the book available in so many languages. And as you said correctly, Professor Harms, I'm quite sure there will be one language that will be suitable for you all around the world. And yeah, there are also some other offers regarding the study. So please get in touch with your local distributor in your country, asking for regarding the book, how you can receive it, how you can get hold of it, can read everything here back in details about the setup of the study and so on, and the fantastic result. And yeah, be curious what is coming in the future. I can promise you Rayonex will not stand still, by far not. And even will also come up before the World Congress with more webinars to help you and to show you the possibilities in bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt. And yeah, I think we should just look for some questions still. Answer them now here on the fly while we are live still.
A few questions we really can answer. We can try it because we are just in time. Yeah. And I will ask the question so that we can answer it, okay? One question is, many of my patients notice that when I use the Polar 1000, they notice more improvement than using the PS10. The same program and the time of exposure. Is the Polar 1000 more effective with the RAH programs? Yeah. Ms. Bonenburg, you want to answer?
Sure, I can give an answer because we checked in the past. Please believe me, we checked with the Polar and we checked with the PS10, and we have really the same results. There is no difference because the inside of the devices we have the same things inside, and the function is the same. Therefore, it's possible to make the treatment like for this study now with both devices, no different and the same effects.
Yeah, that's really true, and it means all the rented, for example, PS10 devices we have in the world shows that the effectiveness of PS10 devices at home, especially, is really high. And yeah, the study at the Fraunhofer Institute shows exactly that it is the same. Yeah. Is there any English translation of the whole paper studies of the summaries? Okay, we worked that out. Yes, it is available. It is in the English book.
May I bring in one question?
Please.
Is the study only valid for the new Polar 1000 or also for the older systems or for the others? I think also a very interesting and important question. Of course, as described, or do you want to answer, Professor Hannes?
Okay, no, it's okay.
I think it was very well explained during the system that the main part, the important part, is the dipole antenna system inside the device to choose the graphs from the active and placebo devices. So we can adapt this study and the result and the efficiency to all other devices. And remember also the Dartsch study, the Fraunhofer study, they all proven the efficiency of the system. So this can be transferred to, let's say, the whole world of Rayonex and bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt, because the principles are always the same in all our devices.
Yeah, that's true. And it means the study worked with a special green card with this compact program 7160 on it or in it, and it is running also on a Polar 40, older Polar, or on a PS10 Med. It's of course possible. Yeah. Someone is asking about the Dutch study book. Not yet. Sorry for that. You have to try it in German or English. Our recommendation. Many thanks. Oh.
Time is over.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Many thanks. Yeah, for the webinar. Thank you so much. Thanks. Great results. Congratulations, and so on. We have planned other tests. Other tests. We are really very happy that we have now these results. And at the moment, yeah, it is definitely not possible because the huge costs are really not allowing to make each year, for example, such a tremendous study. But of course, in case it is possible, we want to do it again with a different indication. Did you only use 7160 or as shown in the slide? Exactly.
What was it? Exactly.
You only use 7160.
160?
The compact program.
Yes.
All the individual programs. So it was the individual programs, I think, is shown on the slide, right?
Okay.
Timing.
Very important to know. We use not a single RH program 7160. We use the compact program. Yes, behind 7160, and this is exactly what Ms. Bunkenburg described in this webinar. And yeah, therefore, it is a combination of programs, but it is not a special combination of programs for this study. It is exactly the same compact programs like all the other 180 we have in the devices. Yeah,
you can find all these programs in the compendium, in the RH compendium.
Yeah. No, it's a very special question about blood groups and so on. Advice if there are any updates of the Polar 4.0 radio scan. That yes, we are working on that, and so on and so on. Okay, yeah, that's really true. We are working hard on that, and it is our hope to have this year results. Yeah, I think these are the most important questions at the moment. And Mr. Taylor.
Yeah, yeah, I think there's so many questions coming in. We cannot answer all, otherwise we will sit here during the night. But of course, if there are important questions, please check with your partners by email or something. It will be a pleasure. We will be glad to answer them later after the presentation. And yeah, again, thank you, Ms. Bunkenburg. Thank you, Professor Hannes, for joining us, giving us all these explanations here. Really around the globe with so many participants, really incredible. just here from the Sauerland pyramid. Yeah, just have to say thank you all for joining us here, for the participation. I wish you all the best and a great success with bioresonance according to Paul Schmidt in the future. And we really hope to see you soon again, maybe in your country or here in the pyramids, and not only the digital form. All the best to you here from Germany.
Okay, take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.